Hello there and welcome back to the Sound Okay podcast, the place where we talk about everything related to the music business from the perspective of people who are in the music business. Now, today we're going to be talking about something that we were discussing early in the morning here in the studio because, it's something that is very common among musicians and it's not exclusive to guitar players, okay? Because the title, even though it's going to be mostly focused on the concept of guitar amplifiers and pedals,
yes,
the whole point of it is buying new gear won't make you a better musician. Buying new gear won't make you sound better. Unless you do what we're going to be discussing today.
Yes.
Isn't it? Correct? The Stony Raven, I got to say something. Where are you? Stony Raven, beautiful.
Hello, girls and boys. How's it going? Very glad to be back, and it's great to have you here as well.
Yes.
So indeed, and even I already made that disclaimer on the description of the video.
Thank you.
It's not only about guitar players, it's about everybody. I think the guitar players are the most relatable. I think it's going to be the easiest to actually showcase the problem that we're talking about.
Yeah, because it's far from being exclusive to guitar players.
Yes.
So let's begin from there. We decided to go for the amplifier pedal combo because an amplifier, basically speaking, takes everything you throw at it and makes it bigger, makes it louder, makes it much more pronounced, right?
It amplifies.
It amplifies. So garbage in and garbage out, yeah, but amplified. So it's bigger.
Yeah.
It's even worse than so wherever you throw at it, if it was bad, it comes out even worse than before.
Yeah.
So in my work and my experience as in the studio, I have seen plenty of situations in which you find that the core of the problem is, let's say, let's put this scenario, okay? Let's say you're in the middle of a tracking session, okay? You're recording guitars, and everything is fine and dandy. The drummer did a good job. The bass player did a good job. Look at that. It's almost like a miracle.
For a change.
For a change. So the guitar player is ready to rock, right? And he's already doing his part without having to turn on the equipment. He's warming up, and you see, perfect. He's very precise. He's ready to rock. And as soon as the song begins and he begins playing to the amplifier, because you already hooked up the gear, something funky happens. You don't like it. There's not enough. Then you start to move around knobs. You start to change the position of the microphone. You start to change even the composition of the pedal board and stuff. And something is not working. And that's when you have to come to the conclusion. It's far from being my gear. It's the guy who's using it. And that begs the question, why? In my humble experience, I have realized that a good chunk of the problem is not the guitar player per se. It's the lack of time invested in perfecting the development of sound and tone. In guitar playing, and that happens very commonly, of course, in drums, and I think it's even more common on drums. They focus so much on the development of the motor skills to do something impressive or much more athletic, but they never stop to think about how much of the sound coming out of their performance actually doesn't sound like gas.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
I think that's a very big problem, and it's a very common problem. I think that's something that is, even though it's very basic, the notion of looking at music, let's say from a bird's eye view, where you see music as a whole, not only your performance at your instrument, and especially now talking about sound, the sound that you're getting out of your instrument, it should be a very, very fundamental notion, but it's a little bit rarer than we would like it to be.
Yes.
This approach to music making, and you mentioned especially to drummers, and even as a drummer, I have to agree that drummers maybe because of the nature of the instrument being mostly rhythmical and stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's probably one of the musicians that paid the least attention to sound.
Yes.
To tuning, to even performance, but from a sound perspective, and that's very, very fundamental to actually getting a proper recording.
Yeah, exactly, because let's use the recording scenario, because in recording, when you're recording, you have actual proof of how much you suck at producing sounds, okay? Because after you recorded something, the first thing that comes to your mind as the guy running the show, organizing and keeping track of the whole process, the engineer or the producer, the first thing that you think of the reason why something's going wrong is you. That's the correct way to approach it, because probably my mic placement is not the correct one, which is easy to fix. Easy. You go in, change the position of the microphones until you get a better result. That's it, and that comes from experience and blah blah blah. But then you find yourself in moments on which, wait a second, I already did everything, and it's not me anymore. There is something off.
Yeah.
Then you look at the gear. Maybe the gear is not properly dialed up. And the last one is usually the player. Why? Because you try to be a professional, and instead of pointing the finger at somebody, you should point the finger first on yourself. That's responsibility, because you're being hired, and people are depositing their trust in you.
Their money.
Based on your experience and expertise, right? So first you gotta make sure that it's not you. And when you face that moment, as a music producer, it's kind of tough, man, because you gotta stop the whole recording, and you gotta find a way to explain to them that there is something wrong with their technique. And that's when you start to see sparks. But it's important. It's part of the deal, man. And you learn how to do it. Because sometimes it's not even on proper technique. It's probably they're not used to using that particular piece of equipment, or they're not that experienced when it comes to playing to a proper amplifier. Especially nowadays that people are rocking modules. The sound, and particularly the way that the amplifier reacts to you, the real deal, is so different, and it inspires you to play better, right?
Do you think that the core issue of what we're referring to here is basically not spending enough time or not dedicating yourself enough to learn how to use your gear properly? Do you think the development of IRs and modelers and stuff like this actually kind of amplified this problem?
Get it? Yes, totally not intended. No, yes, I 100% agree, and I even think that it has created a huge new generation of people who might be very good here, but are terrible at developing tone, because they grew up working with presets. First of all, if you're not familiar with the terminology, a preset, as the name implies, is basically a set of parameters already preset for you, and modelers and digital stuff is abound with those coming out of factory, because they are there for you to have an idea or get a taste of what the unit that you bought is capable of doing, right? They are not necessarily speaking meant to be used as the core of your sound. They're there to showcase everything. For example, over there I'm looking at some of my gear over there. There is a TC Electronics. That guy over there. TC Electronics EG Major 2 is a fantastic sounding, retro sounding. Because at this point it's almost 10 years old. Multi effects unit from the early 2000s, and it sounds very, very good. The thing is that it comes loaded with 27 presets that I have never used in my life, because I just went through them just to have an idea of how they sound like, and then I worked on them. The issue is that plenty of people, since they are so good, this is one. And I play to that one. They never stop to actually analyze the intricacies between the different elements of the signal path that turns something from something to something else. And it's a huge problem, man. Because not only the sound of their music, it's basically cookie cutter. The way they perform and the music they write is gonna be a derivative of that cookie cutter sound.
Yes, 100%.
So it's one of many reasons why modern music sucks so much. What do you think?
I agree 100%, because sound is one of the core elements of inspiration for a musician as well.
Yes.
So if you're not experimenting, you're not actually crafting your own sound, you're just sticking to presets. Basically, what you're doing is not allowing yourself to be inspired by new sounds or by your own take on a sound. I don't necessarily think that presets are a problem in its existence.
No.
I think there's a bad culture around presets, because, for instance, presets can be very useful in getting to a place faster, because it can be a good starting point for something.
Yes.
Let's say you're dealing with a very, very in-depth plugin that has many ramifications. Maybe you can go for a preset that kind of makes sense with what you're looking for, and then from there you're going to start tweaking, and then you're going to develop your own sound.
You basically speaking, you're describing the whole point of a preset.
Yes.
Because those are there for that very reason. But when it comes to developing the sound of your own instrument, it's basically you crafting the sound of your voice, of your musical voice, right? Regardless of being a singer or not, because even singers, depending on how well they learn to use their microphone, their sound is going to change. There are very good examples of great singers who knows how to use the microphone based on the proximity effect and the distance between them and the microphone itself. That they create certain emotions or even sound design to a certain degree.
Yeah.
Right?
EQing
themselves just by learning how to position themselves. So you see that it's not only exclusive to mechanical things, because a microphone is basically the only gear a singer has to acquire. And for example, a singer myself, I recommend any single one of you who are singers as well watching to get a microphone that fits your voice. Not because you see Celine Dion rocking, I don't know, a Neumann, whatever. You should get that one, just because she's an amazing singer. Chances are that the microphone won't work for you. So you have to find the one that makes the best, that gets the best out of your sound.
Yeah.
And you'll see that you will develop your sound based on that as a singer. So you see how important every single piece of the equipment you acquire will be, not only for the proper presentation of your craft, but also for the further development of it.
Definitely.
When it comes to drums, for example, we already had this discussion. We're about to invest a little bit on drum equipment, and we were discussing the kind of cymbals that should be acquired. I happen to be a sucker for the Zildjian, the K series.
Yeah.
Fantastic sounding cymbals, high quality, very very high standard when it comes to the QC. The quality control is outstanding. Very very precise.
Yeah, they're very consistent.
Yes, they're not affordable, but they are also non-prohibitively expensive.
No.
But they are on the upper echelon of the cymbal game.
Yeah.
Why? What can you tell them? Why was it so contentious?
The thing is that you can get something that sounds good. There are plenty of things that may sound good.
Yeah.
But there is something that may sound correct. And the Zildjians, though the K specifically, but there are other lines as well.
Yeah.
They became standards in the industry because they are the ones that most frequently sound correct.
I agree.
It doesn't mean that they are the only good cymbals ever. They are not the only good sounding cymbals ever. But the consistency in which they deliver quality for most applications is what positions them as standard.
Exactly. And one of the points of the conversation was how much of that sound will inspire you to play in a particular fashion. Because those cymbals, and for those of you recently joining the conversation, this is not exclusive to drums, okay? But depending on the sound that you get while playing, your entire performance will change dramatically.
Yeah.
Because coming back to the whole thing with guitar and guitar pedals, if you get the proper overdrive on your board, the solo that you're about to record is gonna react to it, and you're gonna play completely different.
Yeah.
If you didn't have the pedal.
Yeah, 100%. And on drummers' side, for instance, let's say you're only carrying with you always a couple of crashes that are very very trashy.
Yes.
And you're playing music that is not trashy.
Yeah.
You might avoid crashing because of it.
And you're gonna change the song.
The playing is gonna be completely different.
Yeah.
The drum part is gonna be different. It's gonna be shaped around that sonic characteristic of your gear.
And if you think about it, the entirety of the band, the entirety of the performance is going to be tailored or affected by those decisions made by the drummer.
Yeah.
Just because the guy is cheap enough not to buy the appropriate set of cymbals for that gig.
So buy proper cymbals.
No, but for real, because when it comes to drummers, I think cymbals is the most important aspect when it comes to this. Because you got so many options. They are relatively more affordable than buying an entire new kit. And you can entirely change the sound and the vibe of your kit just by swapping certain cymbals.
Yeah.
I'm a huge proponent of a drummer owning a collection and developing that collection. Because the way I look at cymbals is the same way as I look at pedals for guitars.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the best pedal you got is not the best for that song. And especially in the recording environment, being the studio right I am, having options is what makes or breaks the record.
Yeah.
As simple as that. And in a live show, I recommend getting something that it's versatile enough
Yeah.
and having the oddballs that could save your ass in certain points. Because it's impossible to replicate what you got in the studio.
No, but look, the thing is, if you spend time playing around with different sounds, and good thing is, we live in a time where for most instruments there are ways to do it not that expensively. Because let's say on the case of guitar players, you can try different amps with modules.
Yeah,
and you can try a platter of different amps and vary your sound through that.
Yep.
As a drummer, you don't need to buy a shit ton of drum kits. You can actually get an electric drum kit and you can get different drums inside of it.
Or even better, you can get a very, very affordable drum kit and connect it through MIDI. And through that, test different libraries. And have an idea, because it's not going to be the same. But the idea is to develop the hearing and the perception and the taste for it.
But look, the point that I'm trying to get to is that once you have the opportunity to experiment, you allow yourself to come up with your sound. Then it's time to procure that real instrument, let's say the amplifier or the actual drum kit, the actual set of cymbals, that is going to be your sound. But you had to kind of go through a period of experiment in order to find that sound. It's a period of development, basically.
And you'll see what I would recommend, because I'm going to use the whole analogy behind the amplifier as my example. Let's say you just got into guitar and you've been playing for a while and you've been rocking to a very tiny practice amp, as most of us began with. And you're ready to do the jump and get into something for real, the real deal, right? Let's say that you're looking at a modeler, or you're looking at a guitar amplifier, a proper amplifier, right? The modeler, you will have basically infinite options. The issue with that is that it's gonna be basically getting you into the whole preset mentality. If you get in there quite layerly.
Okay, I get you.
So my recommendation would be go for the real deal, the amplifier first. Why? It's gonna be costly. So most of your budget is gonna be basically on the amplifier and the cabinet. So that's gonna force you to truly think thoroughly about which amplifier you're gonna get. Secondly, once you get it, you're gonna be broke. And that's a good thing in this case, because you won't feel the need of spending more money on gear, making you feel the need of actually spending time on the box and getting and learning how to get the most out of the amplifier. Because it's very common that, and here in the studio I faced that situation several times, in which somebody, I suggested using the Marshall amplifier for the recording. I haven't done a nice Marshall here. And the reaction back in that period of time was like, nah, I didn't like Marshall. Why? Because I tried them already at the big guitar shop here in my city. And I asked him, so you didn't like it? How you didn't like it? I played for 15 minutes. That was the problem, dude. You didn't actually experience the amplifier. 15 minutes is nothing. Secondly, you did it inside of in an environment that didn't allow for actual critical listening. It's loud, it's noisy. There is a sales guy trying to convince you. And the guy is not gonna let you rock the amplifier for an hour if you're not gonna buy it. So you don't have that much time to actually experience it. So let me show you. I usually ended up spending a good chunk of time explaining how the amplifier worked. So they can actually understand in a way to provide a little bit more of what the service was about. Because one of my core tenets when it comes to producing people has always been giving them something more than just the production itself. Because I like to provide them with knowledge and tools that will allow them to become better musicians. Because out of doing this, I had plenty of experience doing many things in this area. So I have learned plenty of tone and sound design techniques. And I like to always share this with the musicians that I'm working with, in an effort to improve music, right? So after explaining that to them, things changed. Because now, throughout the rest of the recording session, they were now trying to react to the amplifier, and they start to play better because now they understand how the amplifier works. And I think that's a super important skill that is integral for a guitar player, but in the case, that applies to everybody.
100%.
Because if you have, I don't know, ductile money, and you're a drummer, what would be your immediate reaction? I don't like the snare. Let's get another one. I don't like these cymbals. Let's get another set.
Wrong.
Because how can you tell?
Yeah.
If you are just swapping stuff around.
Yeah. And the thing is, especially talking about real instruments,
Yes.
they are very responsive. An amplifier is responsive.
Yeah.
Cymbals are responsive.
The good ones.
The good ones. No, but everything was responsive. The good ones more.
Yes.
But the way you play it makes a big difference. If you hit every cymbal the same, very likely you're gonna be getting a very similar sound from them. Of course, with the tonalities that comes out of the cymbal itself.
Of course.
But maybe what would solve your issue of, okay, that this ride is not really working for me. You wouldn't even be changing the ride, you would be playing it differently.
Yeah.
But you only kind of come to that conclusion if you're open to accept that it's on you.
Yes.
And that's something that many musicians are not really willing to do.
And you'll see that that nowadays, due to the technology that we have access to, that became the norm, don't you think?
Because it's too easy.
It's way too easy. Because how many people, for example, producing music right now or posting stuff on Instagram or YouTube are using programmed drums? Nothing against them. They have a place. They're very useful, and I have used them several times throughout my career. The issue is that they don't even know how to get a sound to begin with, because they're always using something that was done by someone else. For those of you who are not that familiar with terminology, again, the whole concept of programming drums is through the use of you basically speaking can program them on a computer. You can program the pattern, and what you will do with that is you're going to be triggering sounds of a pre-recorded drum kit, and which was recorded in an incredibly good sounding studio by people who knows exactly how to do it under the best circumstances possible. So for you to make it sound bad, it's virtually impossible. Get it? So people are not developing the craft, not developing the technique involved in actually recording something. First problem. Second problem, the way that they are writing or designing those drum patterns is based on that uberly pristine, perfect kind of sounding way. Which is weird. There is something off with it, man. And even here, for example, we've been working with drums, digital drums, for a while, for reasons. But the way that we did it, or we do it, is by actually connecting the electric drum kit and recording the actual performance. It's not programmed. We're actually recording the real deal. Just swapping the sound for the one that is part of the sound library. Giving us the best of both. It's not a replacement, but at least. And also, what we do is always try to, as soon as the recording is done, doctor it, work on it. Like if we were putting microphones on the kit and stuff, because otherwise it's gonna sound cookie cutter, man.
And look, the music is communication, right?
Yes. Among many things.
Among many things, but it's a form of communication.
Yes.
And sound is one of the ways that we have to express ourselves in music. Let's say it's part of our vocabulary as well, because you have the actual vocabulary, the phrasing, the rudiments when it comes to drumming.
Yes.
But the sound itself is also part of that vocabulary. If you always use the same sounds, it's like you're answering different questions with the same answer. Like all the time. And of course, it may have a context in which it's gonna work, but in most it won't. And I think taking the time and taking the effort to actually explore what works in context, not only is gonna make your recordings better because they're gonna sound better, but also is gonna allow you to see music in a way that is more global, because now you're thinking on how the whole thing sounds at the end, not only what you're doing with your instrument.
Much more of a bird's eye perspective.
Because if you're thinking on sound not only in what sounds cool but what sounds right, that changes everything.
Man. Good point. And you'll see that we start to get to the core of the conversation. Don't you think that what we exposed in the last few minutes could be one of the reasons why modern music is so bad? Because it's very common for someone to mention that, man, they don't make music like they used to, or everything sounds boring or everything is basically the same. There's no innovation, and I think that's the problem. What they refer to is not coming up with crazy ass ideas for music. Is uniqueness.
Yeah.
There's no, how can I put it, this magic.
There's no personality.
The personality, that's what I'm looking for. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly, because I analyze a track from the Eagles for the analysis channel that goes live tomorrow. And during that analysis, I made the comment. I even compared them to Fleetwood Mac, because it's not necessarily the same time period, but there is a little bit of sound similarities to it, and also to Aja by Steely Dan. And even though they are similar, they are far from the same.
No, they have their
There is
own
something,
identity.
but
Yeah.
you get as well. Why would I put them in kind of a similar bubble?
Yeah.
The sound is kind of, for example, the Eagles. Think of the drums. It's not gigantic, it's not bombastic, but it's punchy enough somehow.
Yeah.
The same happens with Fleetwood Mac. Fleetwood Mac drums are a little bit more bombastic, are a little bit louder, or more aggressive sounding, and Steely Dan is
Simple perfect.
perfect. It's perfect. It's the perfect tone, but all of them kind of feel they're part of the same family.
Yeah, kinda. I think Fleetwood Mac is probably the one that
A little bit. Their eyes
depending
more.
on the music, it can be a little bit further away. The thing is that they all have this kind of cozy but present and
Firm.
firm. It's firm rather than punchy. It's
Yeah,
firm.
firm.
sound.
Yeah, it feels. Yeah,
Meaningful.
Meaningful. There's intent behind every kick. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's something that is no longer a thing.
No. And even with the overly, because now we're straying away from only gear, but now the capabilities that exist within editing, for instance, the doctoring of performances and stuff like that. I think people can get away with many things, which makes them get away with many things. They actually use this resource. They don't only have it as a backup. They actually rely on editing, rely on, for instance, quantizing. You can explain people better what.
Quantization is basically aligning everything to the tempo of the track. Let's say that you recorded a sloppy drummer, right? Technology allows you to push the hits that are a little bit off tempo to be perfectly in sync with the tempo of the track. And if you're good at it and you got the proper techniques and the tools to do it correctly, it's basically invisible to the human ear. Without artifacts, you don't create any form of problematic sounds due to the forcing of the quantization, right?
Yeah.
Bad something awful happens as well. You destroy the human element in the music, in the performance.
Yeah.
And that's even worse than having a sloppy drummer. Because sloppy drummer, there are plenty of great recordings that they are not precisely to the beat.
Yeah.
Because it's impossible to be on the beat. 100%. You should be, but there.
Yeah.
Not at. I don't know. On, not at.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. It's one of those things that are difficult to describe with words. But it's that mentality of not committing to what you're doing.
Yeah.
And this is the whole message for today. We use the analogy of the amplifiers and the pedals because instead of working with what you got, you go straight for the solution that is the immediate solution. You want instant gratification.
Yeah.
And just imagine how much this mentality has affected music making in the last 15 years.
Wow. So much.
No, incredible, man. It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous because I also faced people who didn't know how to dial up a guitar tone. Why? Modelers. I just go straight for the profiles.
Yeah.
And I am a huge advocate for modelers. I even have plenty of Tonex videos because I love Tonex. I actually was using one of my Tonex. I have one of my Tonex pedals today.
Yeah.
An hour ago.
Yeah.
Why? Because they're super good. They're very useful. But once again, they will never replace my amplifiers.
So let me make a question then,
Yes.
because on the other end of this conversation, we have the fact that more gear, because we're basically saying don't buy more gear.
Yes.
But at the same time,
You need more.
you need more gear because actually you have means to explore more sounds. You have means to express yourself in different ways. So, what's the point here? Should I buy more gear or shouldn't? Or when?
This is the way I like to do. This is the advice that I always gave. What you got, make sure that it's good enough. And in order for you to decide if it's good enough or not, make sure that you have spent enough time with it, because price is not the determining factor. There is no correlation between price and quality. Sometimes, most of the time, there is some correlation, but when it comes to the quality of the sound, rather, the correlation doesn't necessarily speaking happens, or is based on how much money you spent on the piece. So in order for you to decide if it's good or not, you gotta first make sure that you have spent enough time with it for you to have enough information for you to make an intelligent decision based on actual experience. Then, let's say that it's good. Yes, but is it? Do you feel satisfied with it? Is it projecting the ideas, the sound in your head? If the answer is yes, you stop there. If the answer is no, which is more likely to be the case, okay, what do I need? Using the guitar amplifier, I think. Okay, let's say that my amp is already punchy enough, and I like the distortion that I get out of it, and I want a little bit more. If I go to the amplifier and I crank it up a little bit more, it becomes more unruly. So that's not the way. Enter a boost or an overdrive pedal, right? Like this one. Which one? Damn! There are tons and tons and tons and tons and tons. There I would recommend first, instead of spending hours listening to demos, first get a book, learn a little bit about how a guitar pedal actually works. It's not that complex for real. It's just learning the difference between the different kind of clipping systems, circuits, so you can see how the pedal is going to affect your signal coming in, and as a result, or as a byproduct, how much is going to feel through your playing, because there is a reactive element to these things. Certain pedals, for example, have this quasi compression that it's applied to the sound that makes everything sound tighter, and it's something that it's mostly only acquired through pedals or an overly loud amplifier. So I prefer to get it out of an overdrive pedal, and from there your playing is going to change, because the pedal is affecting the way the sound is projected to you, and everything you do is going to be as a reaction to that sound, and you will see that your entire technique is going to develop around that sound. So my recommendation has always been, okay, make sure that what you got is already there. You got the starting point. From there, just go for the little details that are needed, but make sure that you have a clear idea of what is missing.
I think that's a very, very important point. It's actually taking the time and putting the effort into understanding the problem. Because even if at this point in time, let's say you don't understand how an overdrive works, okay? I think even before, I like the recommendation, but I would add that maybe even before going into understanding how an overdrive works, is understanding what you don't like. Let's say, okay, I played something, I don't like it. You don't simply go and try to buy something else. Okay, why don't I like it?
Spend time on it.
What do I need more? Is it missing sustain? Is it missing aggression? What is missing? Even if you don't know how that correlates to an overdrive pedal to begin with.
Does it feels right?
If it doesn't feel right, let me try to understand why it doesn't. And what is missing. Once I understand what's missing, then I think it would be a good time to go into the book and, probably this overdrive is gonna solve my problem.
I remember reading this. Let me confirm. Now I have the experience. It's basically what the book said. Or the online forum you read, or whatever, or the videos you watch on YouTube regarding how a guitar pedal works. Because nowadays we have access to so much information that when you buy something and you've bought something that you don't like, it's on you.
That's on you 100%.
You no longer have the means to say that, I made a wrong decision out of bad luck. No, man.
And look, if you put the effort into understanding the problem, you might find that the solution is gonna be in the pedal that you're already on. Maybe just fiddling.
Thank you for bringing that into the conversation. You don't know how many times I actually changed the way people looked at their own gear. Sometimes they, for example, there was this particular production on which the guitar player actually had a very good sounding an orange amplifier that he hated, and he was already I already almost convinced him to sell to me. But I told him, bring it. I think it's gonna be great for this. Is there an amplifier for this
recording.
This production. So bring it on. So he brought it here, and as soon as he plugged his guitar in, I put the microphones in a starting point, because you develop the good practice of putting the microphone in front of one of your cabinets that you know how it sounds like, in a way that you always use as a referencing point. Okay,
You know that kind of works.
it's the one that whatever you don't like, it's now on the microphone. Okay,
Yeah.
or will allow you to develop a good sound, a starting point on the amplifier, and then just slight variations on the positioning. Right? Okay. I didn't have to move the microphone from the starting point, because as soon as I fired up and he began playing, I just did a little bit of moves on the EQ, because it's one of those oranges that only has a tone, knob. So the EQ is very limited. My ass. The thing is that you change the entire structure of the gain. The amplifier changes. You have several different amplifiers in one, man, based on that tone control.
Yeah.
And it's based on the relationship between the gain and the gain in and the output of the amplifier in accord to the position. It's way more complex. And I know that because I read the details. And I also own an Orange before. So I had an idea.
Yeah.
So as soon as I got it dialed up, man, I never heard my amplifier like that before. Like, oh shit, yeah, yeah. It was this close from being one of those very good deals. So wherever.
That's what you get.
Yeah, that's what I get. Yeah, that's what I get from being a professional.
Yeah.
So the guy was blown away by the sound, and another situation similar to this one happened during another production. That this was related to guitar pedals, because this guy didn't like the sound of one of his overdrives. Why don't I like it? It's because I don't know, it's missing something. Well, let's see. I plugged it to the Mesa boogie I got here, and and it was a heavy metal. It was a very, very heavy sounding band. So even though the Marshall I got here is very aggressive, it's much more powerful than the Mesa. The Mesa is much more precise. So you start to see why it's very important to understand how your gear works. Because in this case, the strategy was, I'm gonna get a very tight sounding tone, and I'm gonna use the overdrive to push it over the edge. So it gets us the chocks in a very controlled fashion. As soon as I pressed the guitar pedal, like, bam, and they were like, "What did you do?" I'm just boosting. I'm doing what you're meant to do with an overdrive pedal, man. You're not, because the guy was expecting the pedal to be the wrong.
Yeah.
If you want that, get a distortion pedal rather than an overdrive. And even if you need that kind of very aggressive tone, I am a huge advocate of amplifiers. Boost, yeah, because they're nobody beats that. The one I showed you, the one I produced for the lead tone, that was insane.
Yeah.
And I explained to you why. The Marshall, the gain, 8 out of 10, and the output on 6 out of it was loud as all balls, but the tone is like, ooh, sustained for ages, no boosting. I actually boosted a little bit with a crazy ass overdrive that I got in front of me. It's a custom one that I don't like by its own, because the circuit is funky. There's something wrong about it, because if I set it to a particular clipping circuit, the output, even if you put it all the way to the top, is not unity. It doesn't even match unity.
Yeah.
It's bad, man. So I have to put it after, before a boost that is cranked to compensate the loss. But the tone I got like, wow, man, Gary Moore. It sounded like Gary Moore.
Yeah. Ultra high gain.
High gain, but controlled, man, and melodic. Yeah. And even it was great for metal, like Gary Moore.
Yeah.
No, excellent. But once again, it's the importance of understanding the way your gear works.
Yeah.
It's not about getting the fancy pedal or the amplifier of the month, or the guitar that everybody's rocking right now, the Steinbergs back in the day, or today the PRS. It's not the Sur. No, it was it was the same period, man, because everybody was into Strandbergs and Source 10 years ago. Don't you remember that?
Yeah, that was a wave.
Annoying.
No.
No, both of those guitars are amazing, great, but it's nothing outside of the ordinary, man. You're still dealing with high-end stuff, man.
Yeah.
So Mayonnaise and all of those badass guitar manufacturers, like, they're still around. And Fender, come on, who can beat Fender? High-end Fender is excellent.
Yeah.
But whatever. The whole point of this is, once again, why it's so important for you to learn your stuff before you begin considering getting more, because that's a very big problem. Your music sucks, not yours, but allegorically speaking, the music produced today sucks so much because the musicians who are producing such music are ignorant on the actual possibilities that their gear is capable of producing.
Yeah.
And therefore their performances, their music, their sound, and the way they play their instruments is affected by that lack of understanding.
Yeah. Let me use that to elaborate a little bit, because I think a common misconception as well is thinking that sound is the producer's problem. Okay. Like the musician, as a musician, I don't need to care about sound. I don't need to care about dialing in, because my job is just to perform and let the producer, the mixer, deal with whatever problems with sound.
Which is basically everything, because I don't care.
Yes. But that's wrong from many perspectives. But there's first the obvious one, which is garbage in, garbage out. If you're sending bad sound, regardless of how good a mixing engineer or a producer you're dealing with, you're gonna get a bad sound at the end.
Yes.
But let's say they could be magical workers, they could be miracle workers, and they could fix your sound. The performance won't be as good as it could have been.
Yes.
Because you weren't working with the correct sound for it.
I agree.
So yes, sound is 100% on the musician.
Yep.
It shouldn't be left as a responsibility only for the producers.
100%. And look, nowadays another technique, because you made me think of the whole concept behind reamping. A technique that is very popular nowadays is called reamping. And once again, for those of you who are not familiar with the terminology, when you reamp something, you are actually first recording the guitar sound. I'm going to use a guitar. This is a clear example. You're going to record your guitar into your recording device without any form of amplifier, pedal, or effect in the way in. For it to be later being sent into an amplifier.
Yeah.
And what you're going to actually record is going to be the sound of the amplifier being fed with the previously recorded clean DI, direct signal, right? It's very good. It's a very, very efficient way to record stuff, because it allows you to craft perfect tones, right? Because you have basically infinite amount of opportunities for you to fix it.
Yeah.
But here's a big problem. If the guitar player didn't record his clean DI signal by monitoring himself through a system that will be similar to the one used in the record, the way he performed won't translate necessarily the right way once the reamping session takes place.
Yeah.
Because he's gonna be playing, let's say that he recorded, we're dealing with, once again, super high gain heavy metal, right? And he played through a super clean amplifier. The way he played the solos is not gonna be the same as if he was rocking a very almost exploding amplifier. The sustain won't be there, so he's not gonna do the proper vibrato. The licks, the speed on which he moves his fingers is gonna be completely different. He's gonna attack the strings in a different way. And once you output it and re-record it again through the use of a different amplifier, the performance is not gonna be the right one. So what I propose people to do is, one of the reasons why I got Tonex. Tonex is a profiler. So I take snapshots of my amplifiers here, and I have them, and I produce them based on the use for those particular sounds. For example, I have snapshots of the Mesa in a lead tone, of my Marshall in a rhythmic tone, of one of my Fenders in a clean solo tone and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Because when I am recording guitars, or when I'm working with somebody else for reamping purposes, I plug them into that rig, and I output. I have a splitter in the rig, so I actually send one into the recording device, sending the clean. But what we actually hear in the control room is the one with the sound of the amplifiers and stuff. And I even have a good chunk of pedals here that I hook up to create the similar to what the end record is gonna be.
Yeah.
Why? First thing that I get out of this, I make sure that the performance is gonna be basically as close as possible under the current circumstances to the one that is gonna end up in the record, without having to turn on the amps. Secondly, by using the pedals and the outboard gear that I got here, I start to have an idea of which equipment I will end up using and which one I want.
Yeah.
And the best part, the performer is gonna feel excited because I recorded even with the effects on and stuff, man.
Yeah.
So if there is a section in which there is reverb or a delay that will be thrown like super loud, like a throw, which is like this. When all of a sudden the effect kicks in louder, that's a throw. That's what is known as a throw in the mixing world. I can even fake it because if the guy is playing, okay, here's the throws, and then bring it back, and the performance is better, man.
Yeah.
And everybody's happy.
Yeah.
Because the performer, the musician is gonna be actually play in an excited way, man. The same what happens with drums.
Yeah.
You need the reverb, right?
Yeah.
The sound of the effect here, and sometimes give me more kick. Right?
Yeah, you need to feel it.
Yes, you need to feel it. More bass. Yeah. Because what do we do when recording?
So actually, something similar to what you explained for guitars, because don't think that is only affecting guitar players. No. Because nowadays, for instance, using electric drums, which is something very commonplace nowadays,
yes,
and also very commonly used now as a recording tool. You have, for instance, the use of virtual instruments. Did you explain already today?
No. Go ahead.
So virtual instruments basically are recreations of actual instruments, but digitally.
Yeah.
So on your digital audio workstation, which is softwares that manage audio, you can have loaded those instruments that, let's say, on the case of drums, you can load up drum sounds that you can use an actual performance on an electric drum kit to trigger those sounds. So let's say what you would do with the DI recording, as he explained for guitars, you record the performance in the guitar, but then you have the opportunity to craft the sound later.
Yes.
Or reamp the sound, or throw it to different effects through different amplifiers. You have a similar thing that you can do with drums. You record a performance through a technology called MIDI. I'm gonna go into that, but you use MIDI, and then MIDI is gonna trigger sounds inside of your computer. But let's say you're playing something jazzy, okay, and the default kit in your electric drums is a bombastic,
Gorgorot.
Yeah, gigantic sound. If you play to that, your performance is going to be played under those auspices.
And it's not going to sound correct.
And let's say then you're going to throw that into the computer and throw in the actual jazzy kit. It's going to be a mess. Yes. It's going to sound awful. Yeah, more than likely it's going to sound awful because it's not going to translate.
Because you didn't play to the sound of the music.
Yeah, so it's exactly the same principle, but you see that it applies on many different instances than just guitar playing. And I think drummers have the tendency of not caring about that.
Yeah, because they don't even think of how big their drum kit actually is.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to drums, you will elaborate more on it, but the size actually matters. Because it will give you a complete different tonal spectrum.
Yeah.
And as such, the drummer is going to perform in a different way.
Yeah.
And let's say that you're in a jazz trio, or you decide to create the start of your jazz project, right? And you're rocking a freaking 22 inches kick drum.
Yeah.
You're pushing air like it's going out of fashion.
Yeah.
That's great for rock, heavy rock, or metal. But for jazz, it's way too big. You need like what, an 18?
Yeah, more than likely.
16 would be basically a thumb.
Yeah. But look, it doesn't need to be only if we're talking about extremes, because we were talking about metal and jazz. For instance.
But that applies to everything. Man.
No, but look, even in rock, let's say you're playing metal, and you love Led Zeppelin, but you play metal.
Yeah.
And let's say the kit that you have by default is the 26 inch.
A ridiculous monster.
Yes. The stuff that would require, let's say, more kick drum action, you won't be able to play it. Nope. It's gonna become boomy. It's gonna be mush.
The solution is, as the pagan kings of old, get another kick drum.
Yeah.
That's always the best.
Yeah.
But if you own a drum kit with you, you already know that moving one kick drum around is already a hassle.
Yeah. It's awful.
And finding the space to have one kick and the rest of the elements of the drum kit is already a hassle. Do that plus another kick drum.
26 inches.
No,
You
man.
need a truck.
You need a truck to move that around.
Yeah.
So yeah, good analogy, good example. Because when it comes to drums and metal, when you go the super quick stuff, think of Amon Amarth or one of those bands.
Yeah.
If you have just one pedal, one kick drum, and the double pedal, you might not hear it from the kit, being the player, right? But on the other side, depending on the resonance and the tuning of the kick drum, there will be a build up because the sound of each of the hits is overlapping on top of each other. Most of the time, you can get away with it as a cover band. But if you're a serious rock band or metal band for that matter, that relies heavily on that, most of the gigs that you have seen live that sounds correct are using triggers. It's not the sound of the kick, or it's reinforced by triggers. Triggers is similar to what we discussed before, is the pre-recorded, highly polished sound that sounds robotic. But there are ways to do it that makes actually everything sound better. And it's a standard, by the way.
Yeah.
If you want to be competitive in the music world, mixing and producing rock music, you gotta use reinforcement. Very different than replacement. But whatever, that's for the other show, the other channel. The whole point of this is you see how important it is to understand what the tools you got are capable of, and how that tool is gonna push you in one or other direction. And it's not about getting the best, it's about getting the right one. And you'll see how we gave you plenty of examples throughout this conversation. Most of the time we focused on the recording area. Why? Because it's where you can actually have actual proof, as I said before, and it's where you actually can see how great your decisions have been or how awful they've been. Because on a live show there are many more moving factors parts. For example, the performance of the band itself, how good you are on stage. Because if you are a great band but a great live band that happens not to have the best sound, you can compensate with fun.
You're delivering a great show.
Yes, and in the end, that's what actually matters. Of course, those bands that become successful beyond just being a good time are the ones that manage to do this. Because once again, here's the studio. I always try to attend all of the performances by the bands that I was working on at that particular moment, right? And it's something I still like to do, but times change. I always go there first earlier to help them set up and to be part of the sound check, so I can show them some of the problems that they got live. And without trying to sound like a prick, but it allowed them to become better live. Because it's easier for the band to realize the wrongness of their ways when it's coming from someone who is external. And someone who is there to actually help them to fix those issues. Because most of the time, your girlfriend's gonna tell you, you're awesome. Because your girlfriend, man. And if your only sources of criticism is your girlfriend and your mom, dude, you'll never move forward. So develop that kind of self-critiquing attitude towards yourself, but particularly speaking, spend time with your gear. That's probably the message, the most important message out of this conversation.
Because even the whole thing with self-criticism, it is at the core of the issue here. Because it's in opposition to blaming the gear. If it's not the gear, then it's me. So it does come from a place of acknowledging that you're far from perfect. Neither of us are perfect. And before thinking that is anything else, it should be the prime directive. Okay, it's me.
Because it could be the gear.
It could be.
But it's because it's poorly worked on.
And even if it is the gear, you shouldn't assume it's the gear first.
If it's the gear,
the last case scenario.
But if it's the gear, why did you buy that? In the end, it's still your fault.
Yeah, it's still on you.
Yeah, why did you pick those tools if they suck?
Yeah.
It's your own. It's of your own making then.
So in the end, it does come to basically self-responsibility.
Oh, yeah.
Because rather than trying to patch it with another new shiny toy, it's gonna be bringing responsibility upon yourself.
Yes.
Be it with the decision of buying the correct one, if is that the case, because sometimes the solution really is buying a new one.
Yeah.
It's not always that you should try to fix with whatever you got.
Yeah.
But it should be after you already tried everything with what you got.
Yes. So as let's do a final recommendation before we go.
Mm-hmm.
On my end, my recommendation is first, instead of buying stuff, listen to the music that actually moves you. Let's say that you're a synthesizer player, just to switch the instrumentation around.
Okay.
You're a keyboard player. Think of the sounds and think of the musicians that whenever they play, let's say Herbie Hancock, you're a huge fan of him, as you would.
Yeah.
Fantastic. If that's the sound that it's in your head, or if that's the closest to the sound that you would like to have as your own, dig around, see what kind of systems or devices he uses to create those sounds. See what kind of instruments he rocks.
Mm-hmm.
Get something close to that, or get the one one of the many, because he's been around forever. So he has plenty, and get that one, even if it's the most expensive one even if it's the most expensive one he ever used, if possible, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Because you'll see that once you get that guy, you're gonna force yourself to learn it, to understand how it works. Because once you do that, something magical happens.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna play better, but like this. Even if you haven't spent time improving on your technique, but you are gonna be better as a musician, because every time that you press a note, it sounds the way it should. It sounds the way it's in your head.
Yeah.
And that will inspire you to play the next one.
Yeah.
And the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And you're gonna be a better musician, like this.
Yeah.
Just because the sound that is finally coming out of your stuff is the one in your head, because your musical voice is finally made manifest, and that's something that I can't promote enough.
Mm-hmm.
Because for real, the best one of the best way to become good by playing an instrument is by getting something that sounds inspiring.
Yeah.
When they ask me what should I get for my son because he's interested in guitar, what should I get for him? Get the best you can.
Yeah.
For real.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you buy shitty cheap stuff, the kid's not gonna is just gonna use it as an ultimate.
Mm-hmm.
Because the sound coming out of the equipment sucks. Because he gets into guitar because he sees Van Halen. He in his head he wanna do that, man.
Yeah.
And when you give him a cheap ass clone of a cheap ass practice amp from China, with a cheap ass terrible guitar, of course the kid's gonna be super disappointed and he's gonna end up collecting dust.
Yeah.
So what would your
it relates to this as well. It's gonna come from the same premise but a different outlook of it.
Yes.
Buy the best you can get. Buy the
responsibly.
No, but look, go, especially if you're not completely set on your sound yet, go for the tried and true. Why? Not only because it's tried and true, but because you know that, let's say you got a Marshall. A Marshall was used by countless excellent guitar players on countless top-notch albums.
And live performance.
So you know that is good. There's no way that you can say this is a bad amp.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a good sound out of it, there's only one other option, and you can be sure of it. It's on you.
Look at you, Occam Tracer.
No, for real. And having that certainty, because if you buy something shitty, you cannot have that certainty.
Yeah.
You can always blame it's crap, so I need to buy another one.
Good point.
If you get a good one, you know that you can't blame it.
Yeah.
It's only on you.
Yeah, good point, man. Yeah, actually, good point. Good point. So with that being said, thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. If you have any comment regarding this, please share it with the world and the Thought Police in the comment section down below. And also, if you want to support this channel, the best way to do it is by subscribing, joining us on this, and also joining our Discord in the link in the description of this video. Yeah. And as every single time that we meet you, we gotta remind you that you should never let anybody tell you what to dream about. And remember that we'll see you. We'll see you. Get good gear.